Hi guys, usually I would put a funny bit in at the beginning of my video, but I just have to announce that my cat is sleeping, so he's probably gonna be here for the rest of the video. So yeah, enjoy that. Hi everybody, my name's King Newsme. A few weeks ago I asked you guys what movie you guys would like to see me talk about, and you guys voted for My Babysitter's a Vampire. Super excited to talk about this movie. It was one of my favorite movies when I was like younger. I just love it. I'm gonna gush about it here for a long time. My Babysitter's a Vampire is a movie and TV show that's about a kid whose babysitter is, you guessed it, a vampire. The movie and show are known for being pretty wacky with their approach to the paranormal, and it's thought to be a Disney original movie and TV show, even by me before I made this video. But it actually aired on a Canadian channel called Teletoon 4 months before airing on Disney Channel in the United States. Kind of explains why it's not on Disney Plus. The super underrated TV show was canceled after only 2 seasons by the Canadian government. Assholes. Why would you cancel a show? Why did the government have to cancel the show? But today we're not gonna be looking at the show, we're gonna be looking at the movie. That has to be watched in order for the series to make sense. Kinda. I mean, you can use context clues to figure out what's going on in the show, but it's probably better if you watch the movie. What is he doing? Ash, what are you doing, bud? I think he's biting the blanket. He's licking the blanket. What are you, Ash? What are you doing, bud? You having fun? Okay. I'm only going to be taking a look at the movie in this video, but if you guys seem to like it, maybe we'll check out a few episodes of the show. So let's quit yapping and get right into it. We start the movie meeting our main character, Ethan, who's played by Matthew Knight, and he's in a bunch of crazy stuff. He's actually in 2 different Haunting Hour episodes, Alien Candy and Checking Out. And possibly his biggest role of all, he's in fucking Gooby. Gooby! We also meet his best friend Benny, who's played by Atticus Mitchell, who you probably have seen in one of the top 10 movies of all time, Radio Rebel, and they're celebrating starting high school with the world's best Sundays, while Ethan's sister Jane watches a knockoff Twilight on TV. But while the boys are distracted by their ice cream, Jane hears a strange noise coming from outside. She tries to get Ethan to go check it out for her because she's too scared, but Ethan is a bit preoccupied. So she just goes and checks on it herself, and she finds some kid practicing hockey in their driveway for some reason. Jane tries to get the kid to leave by threatening to get Ethan on him, but
really? I'm so scared.
He doesn't care. He goes to school with Ethan and he knows that he's just a nerdy kid. Then he proceeds to use Jane's doll as swinging practice. I know, he's such an unlikable guy. It would be a shame if somebody just made him like disappear or something. Wow, that was easy. This is when their parents come home and they find Jane terrified and screaming outside. So the parents are reasonably furious at Ethan.
Hey, you're home early?
Next we hear this absolute banger. I seriously love this song so much, I still sing it to this day. She's the girl next door. Nice but naughty, a heart that's pure. And as the song plays, we get various clips of the knockoff Twilight we saw earlier. The movie is called Dusk, and it's actually super important to the plot, which is so funny. And it captures the strange obsession that teens had with Twilight in the late 2000s and early 2010s, because literally everybody in school is watching this movie. Like, it can't be that good, come on. They even recreated some of the amazing and cringy scenes that were in the Twilight movies, such as the awesome treadmill shot, the Edward sparkling, and then Edward being weird in the room. I absolutely love that they added this in the movie because it instantly shows us that this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, and neither should you. At lunch, we learn that since Ethan can't be trusted to watch his sister for a couple of hours, they're gonna have to get a babysitter named Erica, who is conveniently nearby in the lunchroom. Erica is probably the biggest Dusk fan ever. She loves the movie so much that she set up a screening for the previous Dusk movie so people can watch it before the next one comes out. And she's very excited about it.
Only 7 more days. I seriously think if I had to wait 8 more days instead of 7 more days, I would go crazy.
This is when we meet Erica's friend, Sarah. Sarah used to be just like Erica. She was a nerdy girl who was obsessed with getting in college, that is until she started dating this cool guy named Jesse. And now she's completely changed to look and started to skip class. So yeah, he's a prime example of a bad example. Cut back to Benny, who thinks he's a player. He's not, by the way. But he believes he is, and he's going to use Erica babysitting Ethan as a chance to shoot his shot at her.
She's the Princess Leia to my Han Solo.
Of course, a geek like him would compare their love to them two. Oh yeah, we also meet Rory. He's one of Ethan and Benny's friends, but they kind of try to avoid him as much as possible. That being said, He shows up a lot in this movie. After school, the boys are heading home and we get a little bit of information about the bully in the first scene.
Looks like they found the rest of that missing senior. Yeah, it says here he was all shriveled up.
Like the Where's My Chocolate Lady in SpongeBob? He was way too nonchalant reading that. That's when they spot Sarah and her boyfriend Jesse fighting in the front of the school. We don't really hear what they're arguing about, but it makes Sarah so mad that she storms away, leaving Erica behind. But this argument also makes Jesse mad, so him and his friends try to commit vehicular manslaughter. That night, Ethan's parents are going line dancing in Ontario, Canada? Okay. Ethan tries to apologize to them and he promises that he'll do better about watching his sister. So they can go ahead and cancel the babysitter and save some money. But it doesn't go so well.
Ethan, I already told you, I'm not going to leave you alone with Jane until I know you can be trusted.
The only issue with the babysitter right now is that she's very late, which is really unlike her. On the way to go babysit, Erica is stopped by Sarah, who's apologizing because she's been a bad friend lately. She's supposed to be helping Erica set up this whole movie event and be there with her, but she's been too distracted and busy hanging out with Jesse. Sarah understands why she's so upset, but she also kind of downplays the importance of the movie to her, which doesn't go so well.
I know, but it is just a movie.
Just a movie? Oh my gosh.
She explains that things have been a little complicated since she's been dating Jesse, and it's not because she thinks that she's too cool to hang out with Erica anymore. Yeah, because her boyfriend is so cool because he wears like leather and sunglasses and he's in theater and he falls from the sky? What? Somehow Erica didn't see that happen, but that doesn't matter right now because she still believes that Sarah is just avoiding her to hang out with Jesse. They both try to get away, but both are stopped by some of the boys. And this one, whose name is Gord, invites Erica to a party. So naturally, Erica immediately drops the babysitting job to go hang out with this cute boy.
She can't, she's babysitting.
No, I'm not. Count me in.
This gives Jesse some alone time with Sarah where he tries to force her to do something she doesn't want to do. Damn! I mean, he deserved it, but damn. He's not gonna let a little smack stop him though, so this forces Sarah to go with plan B. Well, I didn't see that coming. In case you haven't caught on yet, these two are vampires. So that kind of explains why she can Sparta kick Jesse 20 feet back. But we soon learn that Sarah's just a little bit weaker than Jesse.
You shouldn't have done that.
Conveniently, she lands right where she needs to be, at Ethan's house. She tells Ethan's family that she's filling in for Erica because Erica is sick, so they invite her inside to meet everyone. And when Ethan sees her, this amazing scene plays. They could have literally chose any romantic song to do that, but you know what? Never mind. It's perfect. That's the perfect song to choose. Good job, guys. Ethan, being a typical teenage boy, frantically runs upstairs, tries to make himself smell and look good because pretty girl in-house, he want pretty girl to think he pretty boy. And it would have worked if Jane didn't fuck it up. Ethan gives Sarah some band-aids to help with all the bruises and cuts she got from,
It's nothing. I tripped on the way here.
I mean, she's not wrong. She did fall. So she heads to the bathroom to put them on. And like clockwork, Benny shows up to shoot his shot. But sadly, the wrong girl is there. And as the boys talk in the kitchen, Jane overhears Sarah talking to Erica on the phone. She sounds very upset, like she's crying, and she's trying to convince Erica to leave because the boys she left with are very dangerous. So Jane gets Ethan to check on her, and when Ethan opens the door,
Looking for something, or are you just an incredible perv?
it does look like Sarah was crying. But not only that, her reflection is a little weird. Sarah asks Ethan if she can leave to go check on her friend.
No, we're fine. My mom just likes humiliating me to make a point.
And Ethan even offers to go with her for protection? Yeah, sure, buddy. This is when Ethan and Sarah accidentally touch, and Ethan finds out that he can see things. Obviously, Sarah rejects his bodyguard offer. Probably for the best, honestly. But now Ethan really wants to follow her so he can figure out what the hell he just saw. But sadly, Jane still needs a babysitter, so they call up Benny's grandma. And she gladly does it. What a nice old lady. The boys start looking for Sarah all over the streets, and luckily they find her in an alleyway. But she looks a little different. Not gonna lie, that's actually pretty terrifying. But I don't think I find it as scary as Benny. So, scared for their life, the boys run away.
Help! My babysitter's a vampire!
Hey, that's the name of the movie. Understandably, the boys think that she's gonna chase them down and eat them, which wouldn't take long because, I mean, they're not the best in shape and they're also not the best at parkour, so Sarah catches up pretty quickly. Ethan begs for his life, but Sarah just says,
If I wanted to eat you, I would have done it by now.
turns out Sarah's not a full vampire. She's a fledgling. She suppresses the want for human blood by sucking the blood of animals. And her boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend now, is the reason she is this way. And that's why they do nothing but argue the whole movie. She also wants to try and reverse the curse before her human body dies. And she only has 30 days to do this. She also wants to save more people from being turned like her friend Erica. As Sarah and the boys walk home, we get a quick scene of Erica and Gord as they arrive to the party. And we can see that Gord is totally loving how much she talks about the Dusk movies.
Huh? Wow. I so don't care.
There's also a password to get into this party, and it's so dumb that it's funny.
Oh, positive.
I really hate that I giggled at that watching this. Sarah and the boys make it back home. Sarah tells them to not tell anybody that she's a vampire and to use the #1 rule for vampires. Don't invite them in your house. She tells them that, unlike her, most vampires are really dangerous. And she leaves right on time for the pizza to come. And that's just awesome. So they invite the pizza guy in.
I am just dying for a bite. So am I.
Holy shit, he's a vampire? Now that I think about it, how did they go this long without knowing vampires exist? It seems like there's a lot of them, and they're just like all over their town. Pizza Boy is looking for Sarah to take her back to Jesse, and he will do anything to find her. Oh, there she is. Luckily for the boys, they got a super garlicky pizza, so Benny uses the garlic on the pizza to burn the Pizza Boy so the other three can escape upstairs. And immediately Sarah and the pizza dude start duking it out. Sadly, we don't get to see much of the fight, but we do get to hear it as the other ones talk upstairs. But it doesn't take long before Sarah joins the boys upstairs. And she used a creative way to subdue him so she could escape. Sadly, it doesn't take long for the pizza boy to find them. And as the pizza boy beats down the door, Ethan gets a call from his parents. Turns out they're gonna be a little bit late tonight because his mom accidentally kicked his dad in the side of the head and he has to go to the hospital. It's kind of funny, actually. But after the call, the pizza boy busts down the door down and they all quickly make a fast escape out of the window, which only holds him off for about 3 seconds. Luckily, Sarah's the goat and stabs him with a branch of a tree.
She may be lousy babysitter, but that was the ball.
Wait, isn't that like murder? What do they do with the body?
Not dead. No, just in some kind of limbo for souls.
Yeah, but what about the body? Does he just get dusted like the Avengers? Okay, now Sarah can actually go save Erica. And as she leaves, the boys get a call from Rory.
Benny, what's up? What's up?
Who's at the same party as Erica. Rory tries to get the boys to come to the party, and he even tries to goad Benny by taking a picture of Erica dancing with everybody. But in the picture, the room is empty. Except for Erica. So yeah, that party is absolutely loaded with vampires. Rory also tells the boys that there's going to be a buffet at midnight. Yeah, that's not good. So the boys have to go join Sarah to save Rory as well. So they hop in Benny's grandmother's car. Wait, do either of them have a license? But before they leave, Ethan notices long light bulbs in the back seat. Apparently they're tanning bed lights because Benny's grandmother likes to, well, be tan.
She likes rocking a tan. Seen her come out of there once. It's not pretty.
But seeing these lights give Ethan a plan, just in case things don't go so well. They pick up Sarah and head to the party. Sarah tells the boys to stay in the car while she goes and gets Erica and Rory. Even when they try to convince her that they need to come inside as well, she has a pretty compelling argument.
Come on, we can...
Yep, that's enough for me. Sarah almost immediately finds Erica hanging out with Gord, and she tries to get Erica to leave. But she doesn't want to. She says that she's fine, and she doesn't really give in to peer pressure.
Besides, nobody here's even drinking.
That's kind of funny. We cut back to the boys who's absolutely listening. They snuck into the party, didn't they? Damn it. It's fine as long as they don't like draw attention to themselves. Damn it. But since they're here, it might as well have some fun, am I right? Back inside, Sarah comes clean and tells Erica that she's a vampire. But Erica...
You really expect me to believe that?
Doesn't believe her. But before she can prove it, Jesse shows up and basically forces Sarah to stay. And the boys finally find Rory.
What's up?
Actually, it's more like Rory finds the boys, and it looks like he got a little lucky with a girl.
Gave me a wicked hickey.
Oh God, he's so dumb. Well, at least they have Rory now, so they can safely leave. And they would have done that if Ethan didn't see Sarah being guided upstairs by Jesse.
I want to know what they're up to.
The vampires have a private meeting upstairs as the boys eavesdrop. We learn that the vampires have a plan to take over the town, but they need to steal 219 souls in order for this plan to work. The boys figure they've heard enough and they should probably leave. Wait a minute, where's Gord? Oh god. The boys tried to quickly escape, but all the doors are locked. And now they're trapped in a house full of fledglings and vampires, and some who want to get their first taste of human blood.
Where are you girls going? You're just in time for dinner.
They try to force Sarah to suck the blood of Ethan or Benny. But of course Sarah doesn't want to turn into a vampire, especially if it's the kid that she's babysitting.
Wait. You still need a babysitter? Well, no. He needs a babysitter.
So Jesse tries to force her to bite Rory, but before she can, Ethan grabs her and then gets another vision. He sees a church and then flames, almost like the church was burned in the flames of hell. And this stops Sarah from biting Rory, but Erica, she doesn't even think twice about it.
Hey, girls, there's no need to fight over me.
Wait a minute, didn't he already get bitten? Though? Does that one just like not count or something? Sarah and the boys make a quick escape. Sarah uses some broken table pieces as stakes to keep the crowd back as the boys cause a fire hazard. Why did they think it was smart to step in that? That's just dumb. They make it out to the car that's unfortunately already surrounded by vampires. But luckily the boys have rigged up some makeshift lightsabers from the tanning bed lights, which is awesome, by the way.
Force is strong in you, young Padawan.
You're the Padawan, I'm the Jedi.
Apparently the tanning bed lights simulate the sun, which burns the vampires. But the vampires are in the sun like all the time in this movie. So I didn't think that would work. Anyways, they hold the vampires off for long enough to get into the car and make it home safe. Just in time for Ethan's parents to come home too. But Ethan still has some explaining to do.
Were you and Benny playing lightsabers again?
Well, yeah, but like not in the house. Obviously, Ethan's mom isn't too happy about the door. She also says one of the most out-of-pocket things in this movie.
I blame video games.
Yeah, that and the rap music.
Okay, let's be honest. All parents in the early 2010s blamed rap music and video games for violence. Some of them still do. The next day at school, Rory is looking a little different.
What's up?
Wow, he does say that a lot in this movie. So now Rory is a vampire, and he absolutely loves it. It cured his bad eyesight, his bad asthma, and it makes him feel more energized. And like Sarah, he's a cool vampire. He's not a jerk. Minus the blood-sucking part.
Said if I didn't, I'd die. All the other kids were doing it.
But sadly, now that Rory is a vampire, he has to follow Jesse around. He also leaks some valuable information to the boys. Kind of. He says that Jesse is obsessed with this prophecy and that he's obsessed with finding something called the Cuban animals.
Cuban animals?
I don't know. That's what it sounded like.
I also love how cool they tried to make the vampires look in this. I mean, Rory's still a dork, but at least he looks cooler. Ethan and Benny call up Sarah and they're gonna follow the vampires to figure out what's really going on. And after a quick holy water trip, the boys and Sarah find the vampires digging up a grave. So it turns out they're not looking for Cuban animals, believe it or not. They're looking for something called the Cubuli Animus, which is Latin for the nest of souls. This is when Sarah touches Ethan and Ethan gets another vision. He sees a gravestone with the number 219 on it, the same number of souls they need, and a glimpse of what the Cubuli Animus looks like. Sadly, this vision comes a little too late and the vampires already have the box. So they have to find a way to stop them and get the box, and they were being really good about being sneaky. That is until Benny fucks it up.
We got a fresh supply of anti-vampire.
Can always count on Benny to mess things up. Luckily, Sarah is part vampire and gets them out before they can be seen. So now they have to try to figure out what the vampires are trying to do with this box. By the way, I'm gonna say box from now on because Cubuli Animus is annoying to say. They won't tell Sarah because she's still a fledgling. And none of the vampires are going to be willing to tell them anything. Well, maybe one might be. Cut back to Ethan's house. Ethan tries to discreetly ask his mom if she gets the visions he does. But I don't think she gets the hint.
Are we, talking about drugs?
Sadly, she doesn't get the visions like he does. Oh, we also get this really wholesome scene with Ethan and his mom, but who likes those? Ew, gross! Sarah comes around and she gives Ethan a book of the history of the town. It was once known as Black's Church, and it was founded by a man named Reverend Black. Kind of a narcissistic, don't you think? In this town, vampires would prey on the townspeople until a lunar eclipse happened. This weakened the vampires, so the townspeople took this opportunity to attack. They trapped all the vampires in a church and burned it to the ground. 219 vampires died that day, and now they all have unmarked graves in a cemetery. Hey wait, this guy looks familiar. And it turns out Jesse is Reverend Black. He somehow made it out alive, and now he wants revenge on the town for what they did to his family. And just in time, Rory shows up to find out that it's pretty rude to just barge in people's houses.
Ow! You have to be invited in, genius.
Rory doesn't really tell them much about what happened at the cemetery, but they do task him with going and finding out more information. And next we finally get to see Erica's transformation from nerdy girl to vampire, and it really only consisted of her taking off her glasses and letting her hair down. Oh, and a little makeup. All I'm trying to say, it's the typical ugly girl hair up glasses, pretty girl no glasses hair down. That's what I'm trying to say. She tries once more to convince Sarah to become a vampire, but Sarah doesn't really fall to peer pressure. And since that didn't work, they're gonna try the jealousy route.
You've been replaced.
So yeah, now Erica and Jesse are together. If that wasn't obvious. Rory gives Ethan a flash drive of him inside Jesse's house. Luckily, Rory found the book that has the prophecy in it. Obviously, the prophecy is disguised as a poem, but luckily Ethan is super smart and figures out the riddles pretty easily. But the video isn't the only thing on the flash drive. There's also a link to the website for the Dusk premiere. The boys are quite confused at first, but Ethan remembers how the vampires were defeated and he checks when the next eclipse is. It turns out that it's the same night that the movie premiere is happening. So Ethan thinks that maybe the vampires are gonna start taking the souls of everybody that goes to that premiere.
What'd I miss?
The absolute worst news yet. We have to go see Dusk 3.
Cut to the training montage. After the montage, they're getting ready to leave, and they ask Benny's grandmother one more time to watch Jane for them. And as they're about to leave, Benny's grandmother casually gives them knives to fight the vampires and a book of spells to use? What? Why has it taken her this long to tell them that she has magical powers? Turns out she's an earth priestess, which is another way to say she's kind of a witch. And Benny has the abilities of a spellmaster, or kind of a wizard. And Ethan is what they call a seer because he sees things and stuff. Literally, what is happening right now? This comes out of literally nowhere. And things only get more confusing when she starts showing Jane a little magic. It's witchcraft! I'm like a 1700 peasant in a small village in Salem, Massachusetts. Witch! Anyways, after that, they just hop in the car and head over to the movie theater. And when they get there, there are way too many people just out front, and they have a few vampires acting as guards. So they sneak through the back door just to be safe. And this is when Benny decides he wants to try his first spell. And it doesn't go so well.
Ferabat Sententium Neophytus.
Anyways, the movie is starting soon, or should I say the ritual is starting soon. So the crew has to hurry and set up all their vampire traps. And before the ritual starts, Erica introduces the event in a very blunt way.
When you see what's in store for you tonight, well, you'll just die.
Luckily, everybody's just oblivious to what's going on. They aren't gonna start just killing everybody all willy-nilly now, yet. The first victim gets to get drawn from a hat, which leads to this poor girl getting murdered in front of everybody, and no one cares.
Wow. All they did at the Dusk 2 screening was give out t-shirts.
And with one soul down, Ethan tries to get everybody to escape quickly by shouting fire. But this doesn't work too well. While a few people do escape, the vampires start jumping on whoever they can to get their souls. AKA, they just start killing everyone willy-nilly. And the crew actually do a pretty good job at holding off the vampires for a little while. I mean, they use some Nerf guns with pencil darts to act as mini stakes. It's pretty cool. They have some holy water guns and the tanning sabers. And Benny even gets some action.
Vintage Star Wars t-shirt. That is so hot.
Damn, maybe he does have some game. Ethan bumps into Rory in the crowd and kind of easily convinces him to stop drinking human blood.
If the humans.
I'll quit, I swear.
Sadly, they get enough souls to complete the prophecy. So Jesse takes the box and disappears. I know Ethan had an easy time convincing Rory to cut the human diet, but Sarah has a tougher time with Erica. Erica kind of loves her life now. She spent her whole life being pushed around and bullied, and now she's super pretty and popular. And she doesn't want to cut humans out, and she just wants to stay a vampire forever. So the only way to stop her is if the two fight. But Erica hasn't quite gotten the hang of her powers yet, yet, so she's easily pinned down by Sarah. That is until she gets saved by Gord. Still a dumb name. I still hate that name. Where she calls him a honey?
She's all yours, honey.
So they're still dating. But I thought she was dating Jesse. Love triangles are so confusing, man. Anyways, Gord corners Sarah, but luckily Benny's here to save the day. Luckily, Ethan's here to save the day, in a pretty smart and cool way, honestly. He uses a lighter to set off the sprinklers that were connected to a whole jug of holy water that melts every vampire in the theater. Luckily, the crew make it out okay, but they have to leave Sarah behind because the eclipse is making her hunger for human blood too strong. And as the eclipse closes in, Ethan and Benny have to quickly find out where Jesse disappeared to. Ethan has been having these visions of this tree, so he figures maybe that's where Jesse is headed. And coincidentally, the tree is in Ethan's backyard, and Benny is still a little woozy from the insane punch he took earlier, so Ethan's gonna have to fight Jesse alone. The two meet at the tree where Jesse gives his bad guy monologue. He says that the whole neighborhood used to be an orchard, and it was his favorite place to hang out until Ethan and his ancestors tore it down and murdered all of his vampire family, or as he calls them, his flock.
One of my favorite spots until your idiot ancestors burned my flock alive.
Mighty weird, but okay. We learned that he didn't get enough souls to revive everyone, but he did get enough to take over the city.
And you'll have the honor of being their first midnight snack.
But that's enough talking, it's time to fight, which should be easy because Ethan has that scary dagger. He can use the Force? But luckily, Benny is there to save the day. Luckily, Sarah is there to save the day. Sadly, it doesn't go too well for Sarah either. But she did get Jesse to drop the box. Ethan scrambles to pick up the box, but when he has it, he's conflicted. Jesse has Sarah in a chokehold and won't let go unless he gives it back. But Sarah is telling Ethan to not give it back. Luckily, a clutch spell from Benny's grandmother helps them out. Damn, he took a lightning bolt like a champ. Finally, Ethan just opens the box and releases all the souls to their original body. But they don't go without taking somebody with them. And Jesse is defeated and the world is safe. But the movie's not over yet. Next day, the principal is trying to explain to the press what exactly happened, but he just blames it on faulty 3D glasses? They weren't even wearing 3D glasses though.
Faulty 3D glasses? Who's gullible enough to believe that?
That's what I'm saying. We also learned that Sarah doesn't feel the need to drink blood because Benny's grandmother has been giving her a human blood substitute. We also get to see that Rory and Erica made it out of the theater okay. And that's the end of the movie, but the story doesn't end there. Like I said, there's a whole 2 seasons of a TV show that we can talk about. And it's even goofier and more fun than the movie. Now, this movie is awesome. The acting is really good for a kid's comedy. It's super over the top and fun, and to be a straight to TV movie, the CGI really isn't that bad. And the movie is actually pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. Now, with that being said, the movie is all over the place, has a lot of plot holes, inconsistency, and just some lines that don't really make sense. But this is still probably one of the most fun movies to watch. I can rewatch it multiple times and not get bored. It's an amazing, just turn your brain off and have some fun. And no slander in the comments about this movie. Thank you. And honestly, to be a DCOM-ish movie that was on Disney Channel, the movie has a few edgier jokes. I mean, they reference and talk about doing drugs and drinking alcohol. And come on, you can't tell me that they weren't trying to make it look like these two were having sex in the closet. Come on. Now, I know what all the Gen X and boomers are gonna say. They're gonna be like, oh, that's edgy. You should have seen what I watched in the 80s and 90s. This isn't edgy. It's a Disney Channel movie. It's the same channel that has this.
Whoa, keeping it cool, smooth and steady. So look back here, man, things are getting heavy.
It's a little edgy. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. I love it way too much. But let me know what you think about My Babysitter's a Vampire in the comments below. I have a Patreon. The $5 members get videos a day early, some bonus content, and maybe some pictures of my cats. Also your name right here. Crazy. Like the video if you like the video. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you all, and peace. Hey, that's my camera, bud.